And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the final countdown of this tournament, which means that they can only mean one thing. We've kind of processed all the standings, kind of looked at everyone's playtime and their abilities in a team environment. I've got some pretty exciting news for you guys. First of all, I want to do a quick shout out to some of the guys that helped us. Obviously, me and Screwta were on the cast, but in the second cast, as many people were watching, we also had Slapdash and Jesse Nevermelt Ice. So feel free to speak up, folks. Give him a round of applause as well.
Hey, it's Jesse.
The one and only.
Hey.
And the daddy slap.
Definitely.
Good games. Good games,
guys. Good games. Right.
GRGR.
So this is a bit of a different format for us, having only a single group stage, no knockout whatsoever. And so it was sort of like a mini round-robin competition, which ended up getting one team to be victorious. And that's for the guys that paid attention throughout the different streams and the different broadcasts. There's one team which managed to be entirely undefeated, but we'll begin with just the entire list of the teams, if you will. We start off at the not-so-favorable end of the list. We had the team one is Skype, which, although they did have Discord, they decided to use Skype, which cut off their connection a lot, and it ended up then not really being able to secure a series, sadly. However, we did see some very good things. We saw Gadget taking up the lead vocally and really enabling, like among many others, Fumi's get up like with the Bobs and get up with the Hunter Dragon ults. So there's quite a lot of good things to be seen there. There were a couple very close maps that they couldn't quite bring it out. Then we bring Team Solo Old Gallia, whose series started a bit later than the others because they started off with a break. They started off strong, got a win going, but they couldn't quite capitalize on the maps thereafter. They had a very close series against the number 3 team, Team Clockwork Mandata, which is a bit of a wildcard to us. But they did manage to go for a 2-2 record, so they're kind of playing equal. Now, from Team Solo Old Gallia, one of the outstanding players would have been Shambali on the mechanical side. Also, there was an honorable mention for Archangel with his own shot calling. And with Clockwork Mandata, we saw a lot of very good pick things from Black Rose, but we also saw DarkDagger doing a lot of work vocally. Then we move on to the big leagues, to Bra Moments in this case, who managed to get 3 wins and 1 loss going for themselves, meaning they end in the 2nd place. And it was quite interesting because they started off incredibly strong, securing 2 very quick wins in their first 2 series. Sadly, they did end up losing their 3rd series, which is, now remember, with a legendary hold on King Zero among the Archway. However, in the last map, we once again saw that this team was not reluctant, or they weren't giving up anytime soon. Dallas went in quite deep a lot of times, together with Titan, together with Suzu, in fact, securing a lot of kills, and they were just outstanding in terms of like their aggression and their ability to make plays happen. But there can only be one winner, and that would be Team O-Behave, who managed to get 4 wins in and 0 losses, being completely undefeated. They started off a bit rough against Clockwork Mandata, who appeared to be a bit of a wildcard team for us. They did win this series 2-1, but there were definitely a lot of very good moments from this team, especially with Voidless getting out of the bunker. But one very honorable mention was StrongPiggi, who managed to not only just like get the immortality filter, but it was really able to set up Ritter with the Mei quite a lot of times. It was able to set up Voidless with like halt hooks, with whole hogs and the likes. Really good amplification matrix is all about as well. So definitely a big applause to our winners and to basically all contestants, because we were happy that we clap,
Yeah,
easy
big
clap.
I think it was a very
Clap in the chat.
In the middle of the summer holidays, getting an extra tournament in wasn't easy, but I'm happy that we got it done. That's quite nice. That brings us to the classic MVP thing, and with a new format, there always comes another new format. So let's begin with some honorable mentions. Like we said, we had quite a lot of people who did quite well. So basically, every team had a couple of people that stood out to us for their ability to lead, or their ability to make plays, or otherwise their ability to bring their team together. So even for the people who didn't like end up making it, I think a lot of people did help a lot in getting their team to whatever success they got, and they were able to bring their team together, get themselves like read up on strategy, and get their team going in terms of plays. So definitely a big round of applause to basically all players in general, but also people that will not be mentioned on the special list. But we did want to bring out a couple honorable mentions. We had the likes of Shaladars, who, especially in the last map, had a lot of very big kills on the Widowmaker and on the McCree, getting rid of any pesky flanks on his backline. Another honorable mention. I would like to pass this one on to Screwty, because otherwise I'm talking for too long. What is your honorable mention?
My honorable mention is Gadget. Gadget for keeping his team spirits up, for making plays on Lucio, making callouts, and even though his team kind of fell short, they were very competitive. They fought till the end, and I feel a lot of it, and I heard a lot of it is because of Gadget. Also from that team, Fume obviously is exceptional. Ash gameplay, Bob every fight, and so on. Also very good honorable mention, because he was Even though again they didn't lose, they didn't win a map, he was still fighting till the very end.
So there was a couple of people that stood out to us now. For some honorable mentions, who would Slapdash and Jesse like to point out?
Honorable mentions. I'd like to point out. What's his name? Yixi.
Jixi, that would be Kurosh.
Kurosh, yeah, definitely.
Clockwork Mombada.
From what I heard, apparently it was an off-tank player, and
Definitely true.
yes, still being able to like pull off like these great mechanical plays and just stepping up for his team, like completely taking over the game, carrying.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely on Hanzo, just made some amazing plays, just being in the right position to get some fantastic picks. Yixi was, or Kurosh was, just popping off so many times, and was really, really impressed with the contributions that they made to the team.
Definitely, and it's even on here that he doesn't normally play as an off-tank, so definitely a big flex there. Then do we have one other person, Slapdash, that you wanted to nominate for an honorable mention, or do we bring another poll?
Well, I mean, it's so hard, to be honest. Like, every single team just popped off, and I was just so impressed. Every single match was exciting to watch. It was just really good to see people sort of change and, bring out the counters and really, really play their little socks off. I mean, Lazy Turtle really stood out for me.
Yeah, I was
someone
yeah.
who
I was about to bring
really
that up.
popped off so amazingly. Like, literally, I just saw him able to stand his ground amongst sort of like top ranking GM DPS players, and stood his ground against Krista 10 and Voidless's bunker comp, and still sort of kept on fighting. So yeah, definitely Lazy Turtle.
Yeah, I thought especially
did
Lazy
work.
Turtle on the final map we casted him, I think on Iconwald, he played extremely
Iconwald,
well. Yeah, played extremely well. Like on the Pharah, I don't know if it was intentional, but he did see the window of where, like, okay, I'm facing two very strong projectile DPS players, and I can take advantage of this by picking up the Pharah. And from what I know, Lazy Turtle, he's just mostly known for impugs like playing a Strong Reaper or Strong Junkrat. But on this in this tournament, I don't know how vocal he was, of course, but in the end, like he did find those little like those small opportunities where he was able to capitalize on them, especially with Genji. And also just picking up the Pharah and combining nano barrages and stuff.
Yeah, it's just some amazing plays, really good team plays, and I think the whole team won a Skype. I really thought they were just put on such a good fight in all their matches that we casted. But I mean, again, every single team, I was just hugely. I felt really, really proud to be able to cast them, and I hope they enjoyed it playing as much as we'd enjoyed watching them play.
Definitely. Now, I want to make one more honorable mention before we move on to our MVP format. In this case, I want to point out Bob. He was present in every single team fight. He got the crowd controls, got the payloads contested, got the kills, got the damage boost. He was healed a lot. Bob was a very steady contestant in our MVP sheet, if you will, but he's also just in many teams. He was able to sub in, fill up the little hooks and cracks just by the payload. This man just slid in right in there. So big shout out to Bob. I think we'll give a big round of applause because he never lets anyone down, no matter the blizzard, no matter the sleep dart.
And some say he never misses.
Some say he never misses a shot. That his tracking is amazing.
Absolutely.
Right, but on a more serious note, we do have a couple people that definitely stood out to us, and like we said, if we want to go for a new format into the regular competition, instead of going for a two-stage tourney with one group stage and then one knockout phase, we wanted to swap things about a bit. So instead of having a two-stage tournament with a single MVP, we wanted to go for a single-stage tournament with two MVPs in this case. So get yourselves excited, because even if you're not the first name, you might just very well be the second. So I'm going to once again ask Slapdash and Never Melt Ice, who was your MVP from the games that you casted?
My MVP, personal MVP. My personal MVP was definitely DarkDagger.
All right, DarkDagger.
Yeah, man.
Big applause.
Yeah,
definitely.
clap. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit. Yeah, there's a little bit of a story behind it.
But
should we get Dark in here first?
We can definitely drag DarkDagger in. He's in his team lobby, so we'll definitely.
DarkDagger.
Now, what is our lobby name? Yoink
DarkDagger.
DarkDagger. Hello, friend.
Hi there.
Poke you. So
yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of backstory behind it because I did message DarkDagger before the games,
Mhm.
because I was afraid there was going to be some, let's say, the team morale was gonna get damaged, or how do I say this?
Well,
there would-
DarkDagger was
there
just
would-
able to keep up the team spirit very well, essentially.
Yeah, that's what I was asking him if he was able to do that, and I know that was going to be very important for a team that they had because they have like
A bit of a wild card team, like a lot of
yeah.
unknown names who were kind of curious to see how they would do.
Yeah, and apparently, I of course I wasn't really able to listen to the comms and everything, but from what I heard from Tomahawk, who did, seemed to have like did a very good job.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were really impressed with the tank plays. Just played amazingly well with the rest of the team. Just playing an active diva, just gobbling up them males and grabs and I don't know if you remember even grabs in my matches, but just like the diva bombs were really, really well executed, and also the feedback. The whole team popped off so much. I mean, certainly the Spite and Dagger. DarkDagger duo was just incredible. So yeah, you can just see the team play.
If I could jump in just to give some feedback on actually what I saw when I was in Clockwork Monk Data, was essentially there was one or two people who were keeping up the entire morale of the whole team. DarkDagger and
Kurosh, Jixie.
Kurosh, yeah. Both of you are doing it. Dark, you were doing it particularly well because you were ult tracking, you were target calling, you were playing your own game very well, and you were doing it so well that the rest of your team, K, Key, all the rest of them were playing at that level too. They were all into it, all actually like really trying hard, really doing their best. And that's, I mean, it doesn't get more MVP than that, to be honest with you.
Yes.
In terms of motivation and that kind of thing. So that's why we decided to put you as an MVP.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats, because it was a good performance on your end, and we're happy to have you as the MVP. But that can only mean one more thing, because like we said, there is a second MVP. And we would like to call forth one person that stood out to me and Scrutiny personally. There was one player who didn't get to shine as the main damage dealer or like the main hero of the team, but it was like the one player that never like let the team down, and that always was able to just deliver for their team so that their own teammates could pop off, so that their own teammates could execute the plans as intended. And that player for us was StrongPiggy. So let's see if we can get our favorite Baptiste player in. I think we have him right here.
Hey,
there we go.
Hashtag Piggy for MVP.
Hashtag Piggy for MVP. Escalate. And Bob, don't forget about Bob. But StrongPiggy, seeing as you're here right now, congrats on also receiving the MVP award. A couple of things that stood out to us when you were playing Baptiste. Almost every immortality field you dropped just like seemed to swing the fight in your favor, and every immortality field that you had just seemed to capitalize on the ability of Ritter and Voilis on May and Roadhog respectively to just pop off, and like it seemed like you were just such a crucial part to the bunker that you really enabled Voilis and Ritter to get all those kills. So big hats off to you, because I think a lot of people, what's it called? You were a bit of an underdog, if you will. Like maybe you would expect Ritter or Voilis to like get all those kills and get all the work done, but not everyone always expects that. Just and like a very normal everyday player can just live up to the hype that much and continue to perform and actually win a puck tournament of a Masters SR. So that's a big hats off to you both on the MVP part, but also on winning the tournament.
Yeah, and it also warms my heart, especially because as a support player, seeing you, Piggy, in action, just pretty much not making any mistakes, just being on point with Immortality Field, using the matrices the way that they're supposed to be used to swing fights when things are not going your way, and keeping people alive all the time. I was so impressed with your play. It was so hats off to you. Because even, as you saw, even your team agreed that, hey, Piggy should actually be the MVP, not Voidless, who was getting like 30% of the team damage, or Ritter, who was setting you up with all those walls and freezes and stuff. But, without you, the healing and the support, they wouldn't be able to do it. So, absolutely well-deserved. And, and again, as Argyle said, to see a bit of an underdog in this role, it especially is important to me. It warms my heart that, you don't have to be a top 500 player to be like the most valuable person on the team. Just do your job, do it well, and you'll get recognized.
Yeah, and work together with your team and flex where needed. Because I remember StrongPiggy from Pugs. You oftentimes play a bit of Hitscan or a bit of Genji. But in this case, we're actually put on a hero that you may not commonly play, but you managed to perform ever so greatly. So well done in that department as well. Not just playing the DPS, but also having a very potent support.
Hey, nice, dude. Pog.
Big Pog. But yeah, that is the team. The winning team eventually would be O-Behave, which they feature the likes of StrongPiggy. I want to give one final shout out here, both to all the cast that we have, but also to the guys in the backstage. Lady Ramsey and Krill both doing a lot of work on the streams.
Woo! Yeah.
Pedro and Tomahawk hopping into the voice lobbies.
Shout out to my boys in the back.
Shout out to my mom, but like, no, but on the more serious note, the casters were, of course, very much noticeable up front, but also the guys working in the streams, working in the text channels, answering people's questions, setting up lobbies. Big thank you to you all, and thanks again to all the players who just managed to make such a wonderful puck tournament right in the summer holidays happen. So that'll be it for us. Thank you very much for tuning in and for all your efforts that everyone put in. It was a very successful day and night.
Yeah,
Besides for the American people, because they were just playing on different times, I suppose. But anyways, have a good night and having a good day, folks. See ya.
Good night, GG's.